Hi. Yes. Hi. You too. Say, Nazi. Nazi. Nice to meet you.
Both these ages ago. I walked with them. You were getting time though. I did. Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah, she was still sitting there. Where? Oh yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to do it the correct way, you go to 2005. I propose every month.
Hi.
Yeah, when I was like saying
We want to reflect on the system and I just manually change it.
Ready? Is everyone?
To housekeeping
Things? Okay. Yeah. No worries.
All right, everyone, hear me clockwise. Hear me clockwise. Okay, great. So I think we're almost all here. There's a few stragglers, but I wanted to share a few housekeeping items and then introduce our lovely guest speaker for today. So housekeeping item number 1 for the boat, very important, do not be late. The boat will leave without you. Please wait for me. So it's like, I think someone saw that it takes like a 30-minute public transit ride from here. I would discourage that and say find 2 or 3 other people to take a different way. It's only like 10-15 minutes.
Bring layers.
And yeah, secondly, so don't be late. We're gonna do a quiz. I like quizzes. So don't be late. Number 2, bring clothes, bring layers. And then this is extremely, extremely, extremely important. Is everyone paying attention? We're doing a RevOps lip sync for our lives. Woo! Okay. So Kate's our lip sync captain. So if you want to participate, go to Kate, figure out your roles. It's going to be really fun. I think there were a lot of people last night at Penny's house that brainstormed the concept of double wears Prada. And I think we're going to do fashion looks while lip syncing too. And we didn't get to talk to you about this, but it sounds like the fashion song is actually Vogue, the Madonna Vogue song. Yeah, so that's I think that's the song we're going to use. But anyway, so Kate's our captain for lip syncing. Yeah. And the reason I bring this up is we get a lot of participation points if more people are in the video. So we're thinking, let's get something. Yeah. So what was the number 1 most important thing for today?
Bring layers.
No, we have time.
Kate is the captain for the lip sync.
I would highly recommend bringing Dramamine if you do get slightly seasick. It is not like the flattest of water, so
Should we buy some from Rika?
yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think you'll be fine. But
Can we announce again, just publicly, where we're going for the boat, like where the boat's picking us up?
Yes. Okay, so what's the most important thing?
Be late.
Yeah. be at Pier 39, Dock J, Nati made that lovely deck. So please.
What time does it leave?
Please be there no later than 5:45. Try to get there by 5:30. Wait for me.
Okay.
We'll wait for you. So don't be late. And then now that's the housekeeping stuff. You know, we've talked about our values, being present, all these things. Want to welcome our lovely guest speaker today, Lorraine Lee, and I'll let her go through things. But the main thing is, I think I gave everyone consent forms for having her photographer and videographer here. So if you haven't filled it out or if you need it, just let me know. We'll get you set up. And if you don't consent to this, then yeah, I think we'll have to.
Yeah, just let me know after if you don't want to be in anything.
But yes, thank you, Lorraine. Let's give her a
Thank you. All right, well, hello everyone. I'm so excited to be here with all of you today. So we are going to be talking about how to supercharge our executive presence and also build a brand at work. We're going to dive right in with a question here because executive presence is a really big topic, right? It can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So throughout the session today, we're going to be using a Slido to incorporate both the introverts and extroverts in the group so you can all participate. So you can scan the code here or go to slido.com and then the code is CultureAmpEP. So type in a few adjectives or phrases. What does executive presence or presence mean to you? And as you're all going through typing what it means to you, I'd like to share what presence means to me and why I'm always so excited talking about it. So presence to me means two important things: how others see you and also where others see you, right? Both of these things need to exist if you really want to stand out and be intentional about your career. So I'm going to go over to the Slido now, see what you all came up with, and see if we can spot any trends amongst the group. All right, let's see here. All right, we got be seen. Yep, what I just said, showing up. The buzzword, confidence, razzle dazzle, flair, charisma. Let's see, perception, presentation, impact. Any others here? Leadership. A lot of votes for confidence, which is great. What you'll learn today will hopefully make you feel more confident. All right, aura, flair, yeah, charisma. Yeah, excellent. All right, thank you, everyone. All right, so as we can see, again, it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, right? When I set out to find out what exactly does executive presence mean, these adjectives or these descriptors kept coming up. So gravitas was one of them, right? These are people who seem important, who command respect. Communication was a big one. So these are people who can communicate a message very clearly, whether written or orally. And then appearance. So these people look put together and they appear professional and polished. But a lot of things have changed over the past few years, right? And I think for the better. So previously, when people said executive presence, they might have meant the more traditional point of view, right? So a little bit more Eurocentric, maybe a business suit, business lunches, typically male, louder, more dominant personalities. But we've seen a lot of changes, right, over the past few years. So economic changes, cultural changes, and technological changes. Now, I want to dive in to some really interesting data that Harvard Business Review published recently, and Michelle and I, when we first met, I don't know how we started talking about this, but it came up in conversation. But some data to really kind of show the difference from 2012 to 2022 in terms of how people are viewing presence. So the first one, gravitas. Confidence and decisiveness, still really important, right? Really foundational. But look at these other ones that have come in. Respect for others, and inclusiveness, both quite high, right? And they weren't even present in 2012. And these are very people-centric skills, right? They involve you paying attention to others around you, not just about me, being loud and being the center of attention. Next, communication traits. So superior speaking skills, still very important. But then we see some additional changes, right? So command of a room has now become command of a Zoom room. Forcefulness, thankfully, has been kicked off the list. And then we see a listen to learn orientation. And then authenticity replaces joking and bantering manner. And then use of body language, still the last one here, but much more important, right? In 2022, which I'm not surprised about given all the virtual communications we have to do, body language is going to be one of the main ways that we communicate with one another. And then we look at appearance here. So polished look, still important, 1% higher than 2012. And again, authenticity, very important, replacing physical attractiveness. And curation of online image I want to call out, which is also very key and which is kind of that other side of presence that I talked about earlier. Now, the great thing is that executive presence can be learned, right? So it doesn't matter what your seniority level is, if you're introverted, extroverted, it can be learned, which is good news for all of us, right? And today, for today's session, we're going to be talking about executive presence in terms of 3 C's. So the first one here, communication, of course, still very important. We're going to be talking about our career brands as well and how to think more thoughtfully about our career brands or personal brands. And then we will be talking about credibility. So as I said before, we're going to be doing some Slido exercises throughout. There will be some workbook activities, which hopefully you all made a copy of. And then we'll also be doing some partner activities as well. And then at the end, we will have some time for Q&A. All sound good to everyone? All right. So starting off with communication. So communication consists of what you say and also how you say it. Now, when it comes to what you say, one of the biggest opportunities for improvement that I see is around minimizing language. Now, does anyone know the definition of minimizing language or can give me an example of what it means?
Probably not that important.
Opposite of that, but yeah. Anyone else? Examples, definition of minimizing language?
You're the only one that feels that way.
A little bit. It's like it can minimizing language is something that it comes from you, makes you feel a little bit weaker, perhaps, right?
I'm sorry, but.
Yep, that's a good example.
It's sorry to bother you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah. So minimizing language is essentially language that weakens the speaker's message, and it's going to be a little bit more passive, right? So I want us to look at some examples here of common minimizing language you might hear in the workplace, you might be using yourself and not even realize, and how we can make small tweaks to turn that minimizing language into more powerful statements. So the first one here, does that make sense? So I used to use this one a lot. I thought I was being nice, welcoming, question. I see some nods here, people using this. You think you're being nice, opening up the conversation, I'm welcoming questions, but it sounds like maybe you're not actually sure that what you said does make sense, right? And so you want to be confident in what you're saying. So a small tweak to this, let me know if you have any questions. So you're still confident and sure about what you just shared, and then you're still opening the conversation for questions. Next one here. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I'm running late. We are all in so many back-to-back meetings, right? And they go over, and then it makes us late to the next meeting. And we come into our meetings and we're frantic. We're really apologetic, just feel so bad. But when we come in like this, we're setting off the meeting on that note, right? A very frantic energy. So how do we change that? Thank you so much for your patience, or I appreciate you waiting for me. Those words, thank you, those words, appreciation, are also now positively priming people, right, to start off the meeting on a more positive footing. The next one here, I'll try to get it done by Tuesday. If Michelle asks you to, turn something, I'll try to get it done. Instead, I'll get this done by Tuesday, and if anything needs to change, I'll make sure to be proactive and let you know with plenty of notice. And this one, I feel we should do this, or I feel like this might be the right answer. Try to get rid of any of the feeling statements, and instead, my recommendation is this, or from my perspective, X, Y, Z. And the last one, just. Oh, I just wanted to say really quickly, or I just wanted to add, right? I think all of us have probably said this at one point or another, right? Let's try to eliminate this one altogether. We don't need to say just. If we have to interrupt someone with a thought, that's okay. Just say what you have to say, but you don't need to minimize what exactly you are about to say and preface it with just. So now that we have these examples, we're going to dive into our workbooks together. So you will see 3 minimizing statements in your workbook. And so I want you to fill out what the powerful statement version of that minimizing statement would be. And then if you have not had a chance to download the workbook, you can access it at this link here. But I'll put about 2 minutes on the clock for us to come up with our powerful statements. And then I'm going to ask for a few volunteers to share what they came up with for each.
Okay, so this is just in the part 1 communication section.
Yes, exactly.
Update the eliminating, minimizing language like box. Right?
Exactly, yes, that box at the top. Everyone good with the workbook? Any issues?
I think it's supposed to do someone.
Oh, you can just use the link right here. Oh, perfect. Okay. All good with the workbook? Okay. Everyone good? Having any issues? Got it?
It did access.
Oh, you just have to make a copy.
My
Yeah.
mistake.
No worries, no worries. Okay. Everyone good? All right. All right. Excuse me. Thank you. You're all sitting close to me, so I'm going to keep coming over here. Don't worry, I'm not judging, just reading.
Yeah. Actually, I was just eliminating that. Hey. Sorry, just I used to. Yeah.
All right, everyone have a chance to go through the workbook? Thumbs up if you're done? So, okay. All right, we're gonna go through these together, all right? First one, sorry to bother you, but who has a response, a transformation for the statement? Who wants to share what they came up with?
Lucky shy.
Yeah. All right, I saw you in back.
I came up with, and I have a few minutes of your time.
Nice. Anyone else? Yes, please.
Can I put some time in your calendar?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What did you say, Michael?
Can I put some time in your calendar?
Anyone else have a different one?
Hey, I have a quick question.
Very nice. So this is the one I came up with. I'd love to get your input when you have a moment.
I interpreted it as like, how do you want to replace the sorry or that
Yeah.
thing? And I just said eliminate it altogether, like just put the sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. I mean, that's an option too. Don't say sorry. Yeah. Get rid of the sorry if you're not apologizing for something.
I just said,
Yeah.
can we discuss XYZ? It's important because ABC.
Yep. Excellent. All right, next one. I'm not sure if this is right. Anyone want to chime in? Yes, please.
Give us a look.
Yep. Very nice. Yes.
Can I get your input on this?
Nice.
Do you have any feedback?
Any feedback? Yep. Yes, please.
That's my understanding.
Is my understanding. Beautiful. The data suggests that XYZ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steal that one. All right. All right, the next one. This may not be important, but... Yes,
I want
please.
to share something that's important from my perspective.
Excellent.
Then they can say that it's important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is important, yeah.
It works.
Is XYZ a consideration or something we need to think about?
Excellent. Yeah, it's nice when you reframe it as a question as well. It makes it a little bit more open.
I had another thought on that is,
Nice, excellent. Yes, please.
It's worth noting that.
Very nice. All right, excellent. I think it's important to consider. All right, all of these excellent transformations. Thank you everyone for sharing. So now that we've got minimizing language under our belts, I want to talk about written communication with the concept of a TLDR. Does anyone know what TLDR stands for? Okay, excellent. So TLDRs TLDRs are excellent when it comes to written communication, right? I think when it comes to writing, oh my gosh, there's just so much communication happening in a given day, right? I think now when people are writing, it's easier to get a little bit lazier. Oh, let me just shoot out my message really quick and not really think about, what exactly is it that I'm trying to say. So too long didn't read can also be thought of a little bit more as like an executive summary, right? So these are things that you would put on top of any sort of communication. It doesn't have to be a super long email, but any sort of communication where you want someone to be able to have a quick takeaway and just get the key points, right? Without needing to spend time reading the whole thing. And the thing I really like about TLDRs as well is that it really requires you to think through your own writing. So as you're writing the TLDR, you think about, okay, what are actually the key messages? Oh, let me go back to my email or my Slack message and see if I'm kind of making this too fluffy or a little bit wordier than it needs to be, right? Now, what do we include in a TLDR? Well, there's a few things we can start thinking about. So the first is anything that has to do with money or the bottom line. Executives want to know about that, right? Any major updates that the team needs to know, any major changes, any trends or learnings that maybe other teams can take away from. And then next steps or action steps. So let's take a look at this example here. Do we have Succession fans in this room? Can I get some? Okay, good. I was talking to another company the other day and they didn't know what it was, or they knew what it was, but they hadn't watched it. All right, so let's look at this example here. So I'm Kendall right now. Logan, I am pleased to report that Waystar Royco's Q2 financial results have exceeded our forecasts, demonstrating a robust 15% increase in revenue compared to Q1. This remarkable growth is primarily attributed to the successful launch of our StarGo product line, which has significantly resonated within our target markets. Given these encouraging results, I recommend that we strategically increase our marketing investment in the next quarter. This will enable us to capitalize on the current momentum and further solidify our market position, particularly in emerging sectors. I am confident that this approach aligns with our broader objectives for growth and market dominance. There may be some additional operational changes we may need to implement here, but I will share more information on an as-needed basis. I look forward to discussing this proposal with you, Culture Amp, and the rest of the executive team, including Roman and Shiv, to finalize our action plan. All right, so there's a lot of information in there. It's kind of a lengthy email, right? So you all are coming in as Roman and Shiv, who are, none of you watch, for those who don't watch Succession, siblings of Kendall, contentious relationship. And they're looking at this and they're like, it's okay, but we can do better, right? So we're gonna get into groups of 2 now. One of you can choose to be Roman, one of you can choose to be Shiv. And you're going to take a look at Kendall's email and figure out what the TLDR is and how we can improve this email to impress Logan, our dad. All right, so groups of 2. You have the email in your workbook as well, so you can view it there. But find your Roman to your Shiv, and we'll spend about 3 minutes on this.
I'm just doing the TLDR Q2 15% increase in order. And it's just like renovation, X% increase. Like really splitting it down to. I just like thinking like memo, just like straight up multiple.
Which one's Roman, which one's Shiv? Say it again?
Do we need to play?
No, I'm just teasing. Which character do you resonate with? No, don't worry about it.
We summarize with bullet points.
Okay, nice. Okay, very nice.
Which works as well.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you think is best. Yeah. You're coming in with your recommendations.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so make your TLDR. So essentially, what would you get as the main points and like summarize it? Okay, so both of us.
Yeah, you're just a group together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you I mean, you can, Shiv, Roman, yeah, and then you just work together. Yeah.
Okay, that way
How's it going here?
We're doing pretty well.
Okay, nice.
Kind of all doing it independently, but also together.
Say it again?
We're all doing it independently, but also together.
Okay, cool. Works. All right, about 30 more seconds to come up with your TLDR. All right, that's time. Who wants to share? Which Roman and Shiv pairing wants to share what they came up with? No one? I noticed a bullet point trend with some of these groups. You all think in bullet points. All right, let's just get one group. One group.
Let's not be shy.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, be vulnerable. Raise bullet points.
Yes, please.
First one is 15% increase in revenue quarter-on-quarter.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Proposal, increase marketing investment.
Nice.
Next steps, discussing upcoming board meeting.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yay, that's great.
Very important. Yeah. All those things, right? Money, updates, next steps. Any other groups? Sorry, someone just said something? No? Okay. All right, no worries. So this is when I came up with TLDR. Q2 Financial showed a 15% revenue increase quarter over quarter, largely driven by the Sargo product, proposing a budget increase for Waystar Royco's marketing initiatives to maximize this growth in Q3. Next steps, discuss proposal with Culture Amp and executive team. All right, so we just covered what you say with minimizing language, the TLDR. Now let's talk about how we're saying things. And the first thing I want us to do is talk about our communication over video. So hopefully you all took some screenshots of what you look like on video normally. If not, make your best guess. But between A, B, and C on the Slido, vote for which one looks most like your workspace currently when you are on video. A, B, or C in the Slido. And then the screenshot is also in your workbook as well.
You should have the fourth one, which is just a blurred background. There should be a fourth one, which is a blurred
All right, everyone, it looks like, feels like a horse race. Okay, it looks like A and B are the winners right now. All right. So looking at A and B here. Ideally, it should be C. So, all right, let's look at this. Let's look at this a little bit more closely. All right, when we are on video, if we want our presence to be known, we need to take up a majority of the video frame, right? It's only so much real estate. I want you to make sure that you're maximizing the space. So as you go back for your next video call, I want you to reflect on this and take a look at this here. So you're ideally going to want 3 fingers worth of space in between the top of your head and the top of the video frame. And you're going to want to show definitely your shoulders and a little bit of your torso. And there's 2 reasons for this. 1, it's going to feel like when you're talking to this person here, it feels a little bit more like an in-person conversation because you can actually see a little bit more of their body. And then 2, it's very important for body language. Now let me just go back quickly here since a lot of you said A and B. So A, now that you see what the right one is, which is C, A, you're not taking up enough of the space, right? It's just your small head and you're not making your presence known. And then B, you're probably taking up too much space, big head here. You can see based on the angle and the perspective of what's going on in the background, it looks like I am looking down on you and you are looking up at me, which is not the vibe we want. We want to be straight on and try to create that natural perspective as if we are communicating in person together. So I mentioned that this is important for body language, right? So there's been some really interesting research that has shown that when you show your hands and palms on camera, you are seen as more energetic, more personable, warmer, more trustworthy. So many good things, right? So I want you to practice bringing your hands on camera if you aren't already doing that. Now what you want to do is lift your hands higher than probably feels natural. It's going to feel maybe a little bit weird at first. And you want to avoid the red zones. This is, a lot of people keep their hands down here by the keyboard. Oh, yes?
I have a question because we all primarily work from home. Regarding like blurring background or like if we are showing most of our home, what is the way to be seen like professional?
Yeah, that's a great question. I get that question almost every session I do. So the best thing would be to ideally not have a blurred background and not have a virtual background, because when we are on video, we are already working overtime, right? To kind of process what's going on. There's like the slightest lag on through the internet, and people are already in cognitive overload. So especially when you have a virtual background, right? We've all been on those calls where someone moves and then like their hand disappears off the screen, or someone's coming in and out and your brain is just like, oh my gosh, there's like so many things I have to look at and process. So if you can, try not to have a virtual background. Blurred background a little bit better, but there is a chance that people might think you're hiding something. So I have a separate session on this, but ideally, curate your background, try to create it in the physical space. This is going back here, this is my background, I curated it a little bit. So that's going to be the ideal situation, yes.
I'm interested in, I've seen a lot of folks have virtual backgrounds that are of them in an empty office.
Yeah.
It seems like a really big trend. Do you have any information or studies about where that's coming from, or what it's trying to communicate?
I haven't seen that, but
a really nice office, like totally empty.
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to dupe their employees as they're forcing RDO. All right, so going back to here, so I have this coaching client, and I keep telling him, move, bring your hands up. I want to see your hands moving on camera. And he says, Lorraine, my hands are moving, but they're like down here, right? So I have no idea. It's not benefiting him, right? With all those positive things I mentioned earlier. So again, lift it up a little bit higher than feels normal, and it will start getting more comfortable. You're going to want to avoid this too much. In person, it might be a little bit better because you're showing more energy, but on video, a little bit too much of this is a little bit too crazed. All right. Now next, when it comes to how we say things and how we communicate, I want us to talk a little bit about breath. And we are going to do an exercise together where we are going to practice chest breathing and practice belly breathing. So first, let's start with chest breathing. So I want everyone to put their hands on their chest and take a deep breath. And when you do that, your chest should be moving up. And then breathe out. One more time. And then out. Okay, second, we're going to put our hands on our obliques. And when we breathe in, our hands will expand out. And then when we breathe out, they'll go back in. All right, so breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Mini meditation. Okay. We're going to get into groups of 2 again. And we're going to read this statement aloud to one another. So person number 1, your fellow Roman or Shiv from before, breathe from your chest and then read this statement. And you'll switch. The other person will read the statement from their chest. And then switch again, and then do the belly breathing and read it. And then switch again, belly breathing and read it. And then we're going to talk about the different experiences we had with the different types of breath. All right?
Okay. Who wants to start? So one break into your chest. I mean, you just breathe together.
Why don't you all do it at once? You can just all take a chest breath together and just read it aloud. Yeah.
Do we say this all together? We say this thing or after we take the breath? Or like
You just breathe normally, but breathe through your chest, and then just try saying this with that breath. Yeah.
All right, we'll be discussing the importance of breath work.
Okay. How's it going? Are you on the chest breath or belly breath part? Chest? Okay. Was that chest or belly?
That was belly.
Okay.
An attempt at it.
Okay. I mean, yeah. And you're gonna do belly now? All right. Let's see. Yes, please. Yeah.
We say we're partnering.
Yes.
He did belly breathing.
Okay.
And then he set the line.
Okay.
Then I'm doing chest breathing and I say the line.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
But then switch so you can experience both. Yeah.
And then he does too.
Yeah. Okay. How's the breathing going?
Good.
Can you feel the difference?
Yeah, definitely a little deeper with the belly breathing.
Yeah.
It's like exhaling and talking, whereas I don't know, the chest breath.
Shorter breath a little bit, right? Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Thank you.
And I do.
Yeah, I know.
All right, everyone ready? Okay. Who wants to share how that went for them? What were some of the differences you felt between the two?
It's all one sentence, which I want to say in one breath.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to pay attention where my breathing is when I breathe at the beginning and the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I felt like belly breathing longer and deeper. Felt like it's deeper kind of breathing.
Yeah.
Breathe through the belly.
Yeah.
Shallower, like through chest.
Yeah, so this group here felt like belly breathing was a little bit deeper. What about this group here that I was talking to earlier, the green and brown?
We felt like the belly breathing was better just because it was kind of like nice, like it felt like it wasn't out of breath, felt like it was a little bit deeper, like almost like when you're like diaphragm singing almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I had the kind of opposite where I liked the chest breathing because it reminded me to like sit up and like project more, and just because when I'm using my chest, I'm thinking about it more, it's just getting more engaged in the way that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And so I think I can understand people not liking it because it's a little strenuous, but I think that is particularly what I do like about it because it's reminding me to be more aware and more engaging.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? No? Okay. So for most people, belly breathing is going to feel a little bit more supported, a little bit more grounded. Next time you are nervous before a presentation or having to say more words, again, you can experiment. Belly breathing is probably going to help you sustain a little bit longer, but If chest breathing, feels good for you, it's good to just kind of be aware of the differences in different scenarios, right? All right, and with that, we've covered communication, our first C. So we talked about what you say and how you say it. And next, I want to talk about our career brands, also known as our personal brands. First, I want to dispel some myths when it comes to career brand and personal brand. The first is that people who have career brands are just self-promotional. They're just talking about themselves all the time. Second, you have to be an extrovert to have a career brand or personal brand. You have to be really outgoing. And third, only executives have career brands or personal brands. None of it's true, and I want us to start reframing how we think about career brands. So the first one, we all have to promote our work and share our work, right? It's not enough to just do the hard work. We have to make sure that people know that we're doing it and that we're being seen, again, by the right people. The second one, only for extroverts. I'm an introvert. I know many introverts who have personal brands, career brands. It's all about just finding what feels genuine and authentic to you. We saw earlier, right? Authenticity appeared in 2 of those HBR studies in terms of being more important in 2022. So that's going to be really key. And then last, you have to be an executive. Well, no, probably the executives got to where they are because they have a very strong career brand and personal brand. Now, another way to think about this is, what are people saying about you when you're not in the room, right? I just love this question because we actually can have we have control. We can control what people are saying about us, right? As long as we are intentional and have a sense for what is the goal we are going after, what exactly do we want people to be thinking about us. So I just really, emphasize, I don't want you to leave this to chance. As we start thinking about this a little bit more, we can actually impact and influence what those conversations are when we're not there. So we're going to do a thought reflection exercise now together. You have your Post-its in front of you. I want you to, one adjective or phrase per sticky note, try to come up with at least, 3 to 5 at least. How are people currently viewing you? What is your brand right now? And how might you want this to change in the future? And then when you're done, please bring it up here and just stick it on here. And if you want, you can add your name. You don't have to, but put it, yeah. And it'll be good to see just any trends amongst the group. Yes. Yeah.
We may not know what
Yeah, that's also telling, yeah, because then that means it's time to start asking people. Yeah. But try to make your best guess. Or ask if you have close to some of your coworkers, they can give you some ideas. Yeah. Okay, nice. Are these current or future? Okay. Nice. Nice. Current or future?
current, future.
Okay. Very nice. Oh.
No.
These are current and...
Yeah, that's my name.
Oh.
I'll put that down.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, hey, if it describes you, then why not? Cool name.
Thank you.
All right, so when you're done, please stick it up on the board here. Again, you can add your name if you want. I actually encourage you to, but if you don't feel comfortable, that's fine. When you're ready, just stick them up on the board here.
I don't put Rogue, I put Maverick. It's so different.
So we have to have 2 sticky notes?
At least. Try to come up with a few for each side, but if you only come up with one thing, that's fine too. Current and future, yeah. And then when you're ready, bring them up to the board. Maybe we'll spend another 30 seconds writing them down. If you,
Yeah.
sure, yeah, why not? All right, are you, Rogue, you ready? You can put them up there?
Oh, over here?
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Are you ready too? Yeah, throw them up there.
I think we have nothing that you have. I don't even. How many did my Yeah. Because I feel like, and maybe this makes me egotistical, but I do think that like how I project myself as someone is.
All right, did everyone put their Post-its up?
I'm sorry, but I'm the critic, so I determine. Sorry. Oh, that's future.
You can if you want, put your names on there. We need a bigger flip chart.
I want to stay as anonymous as possible.
So, yeah, I'm charged if I'm not on it. I need to report. Which makes me feel a little bit better. No, because the one that was different. Let me see.
Hey, Val, can you get a picture of like keeping?
That feels like
How was that?
like full of tea.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're like,
Let me double check about this. You.
Okay, excellent. We have a lot of current, a lot of future. So does anyone feel comfortable sharing one, current and future? I'm not going to pressure anyone, but I will say you have all your colleagues here together. It's such a great opportunity to get their support, to let, be like, okay, this is what I'm working towards. Can you help me?
Also,
Yeah.
one of our themes, like our values.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone agreed yesterday that that's the thing we want to go with, so let's encourage that.
Yeah, supportive environment. Anyone want to share one current, one future?
Not everybody's going to get one.
One, yes, please.
I don't have a future, so I have two currents.
Okay. Someone else?
No future.
You have
I heard your voice. I heard your voice.
I was just saying slouched over and then posture. Like great posture.
Okay. So physical changes, that's nice, yeah. Every time people see you now, they're gonna make sure you're staying. Yeah. Yeah, everyone help, yeah. Yes, please.
I would sit things like that.
I was saying current, like, I said bipolar, but only in the sense of like sometimes, like if you're on a call with me, I'm happy and it's just kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in the future, I put like jovial.
Okay. Nice. Maybe some of the hand gestures are gonna help get that energy across. Yeah.
Yeah, right now I'm known as Rogue, but in the future I want to be more of like a trailblazer maverick. Reinvent myself.
Okay. Very nice. Anyone else want to share? Yes. Oh, yes, please.
My current,
Yeah.
it's like humorous, just like I'm always smiling.
Mhm.
And current is stylish.
Nice. Okay. Do you have an idea what the?
Yeah.
That was mine.
Okay. Now, if anyone had trouble coming up with the current, this is, a very good exercise to see, okay, now is maybe the time to ask coworkers or my manager, or family or friends, just get a better sense of how you're currently being seen. All right, so we're gonna do an exercise that's gonna get us a little bit closer, hopefully, to some of the afters that you have here, with an exercise where we're pretending that I'm the client, we're on a Zoom call. And, on these calls, we're popcorning around, everyone's introducing themselves. How would you introduce yourself to me, a potential client? You don't have to use your name in the Slido if you don't want, but let me know what are the main things you include when you introduce yourself to someone new. Whether, potential client me or maybe a new team member, for example.
Oh, wait, can you go back?
Oh, yep. Yeah, work, like you're on like a Zoom call with,
So pretend you're
yeah.
customer facing or pretend you're at like a networking event. What would you say to your and about what you do? Where you do it?
All right, so we have some solid examples up here already. Name, job, role, and focus on XYZ. Name, title, location, how long I've been here. Name, title, and context as to why I'm here. Hi there, my name is Kate. I work on the RevOps team at Culture Amp, and I focus on the post-sales side of the business. I'm an analyst. I've been with Culture Amp for X years. My name is, I am a title. Here at Culture Amp, I am responsible for XYZ. Name, title, make a joke. What's the joke? Name and role. Yep. So we're seeing some trends here. All right, let's get a few more, see if there's anything different, or I don't know if you can upvote on this, but hi. Nice, okay. You've got my business, all right. Name and role, hi, I'm Randall. I help solve data problems and help make or save money. Nice. Hi, I'm Benny. I work on the revenue systems team, and I focus on ensuring our connected systems run well. What do you do? Where are you based? Nice. So asking a question back. All right, someone else, a lot of funny people in this group. Someone else dropping a joke as well. All right, excellent. All right, all of those are really solid examples and solid starts. And, we saw some trends, right? Name, role, where you're based. How might we improve those? We're going to improve those with something called a UPI, a unique and powerful introduction. We're going to go through some examples here. This is one that I heard from someone when I led teams. This is what she would say. hi, I'm Name, I'm on Lorraine's team, or I'm a title and I support Lorraine. And when I heard this, I was like, oh my gosh, like you do so much more than supporting me or like being on my team, right? So how might we transform this? Hi, I'm Name. I'm a content strategist on Lorraine's team, and I lead content initiatives for the blog and social media, which means I create and curate educational content to business leaders. A lot more information. She sounds a lot more authoritative, a lot more confident, and I, personally, like if I was someone new meeting her, have a lot more information about what she does, and she's not shrinking, right? Shrinking herself on the call. Let's take a look at this other example here. I'm Michelle Kim, Senior Director for Sales and CS Ops at Culture Amp. Good start. How might we improve this? I'm Michelle Kim, Senior Director for Sales and CS Ops at Culture Amp. Our team's mission is to be business partners to the sales and customer group to provide proactive data-driven insights and drive operational efficiencies and go-to-market programs to drive, retain, and grow our customer base and company revenue. Nice, right? Nice transformation? Much better. Like,
Mine was verbose to succinct, and it's still a little too verbose.
but it's on the right track, right? A lot more information, and now I understand a lot better what you do. So we're going to work on our own version of UPIs right now. So what do we include in a UPI? Your role, certainly. What you do. Who you do it for. Mission, if you have a mission statement or a specific success metric that you're working towards, that might be helpful to include, like Michelle did in hers. And then just generally what you want others to know about you. So it could be where you're based. You say you're a parent, a dog mom, I don't know what, but anything personal that you might want to include. And you don't have to include all these things, right? We don't want it to be speaking for like 3 minutes, but choose what you think is most important and then add it into your workbook. And then I'll ask a few volunteers to share. So I'll put 2 minutes on the clock for you to work on that. Oh, that was a good one to start already. You can maybe elaborate, add a sentence or two. Yeah, yeah, that was nice. Oh, Amy, are you Michelle's manager? Yes, nice to meet you. Just got surprised you're going to be the presentation later. Just your photo. Yeah. Oh, wow. You flew a long way then. Yeah, nice.
Succinct.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be too much.
Yeah, yeah. You could add a little bit more about like what does your, let's see what I'm achieving. Yeah, you could add if you want a little bit more about exactly, if you want to say like, oh, I lead a, team or anything like that. But solid as is. All right, let's see here. What did you two come up with? Let's see.
Oh, we put the same now.
So you're just looking at each other.
Yeah, I'm trying to confuse it. No.
Nice, yeah, a lot more detail. Excellent. All right, haven't been able to make it back here yet. Let's see. Nice. Let's see, how's it going?
I would include specific
Yeah,
details
nice.
based on whatever that
Yeah, like who the person is. Nice. I like the part about sales. Yeah, I like the part about sales leadership. I feel like that elevates how you might be perceived, right? Yeah, you might. I don't know. Depending on the person, right? You might elaborate a little bit on what exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very nice. All right. I'm just gonna see. Can I fit? Okay. That's all right. All right. Let's see here. All right, anyone want to share what their UPI is? I saw some good ones.
I will share my readings one. Hi, I'm Randall. I help state up problems and help shape and make money through the use of my creative problem solving skills to help make the world work better for all.
Amazing. His was already strong to begin with, and then, yeah, even better. Nice. Anyone else? Everyone's avoiding eye contact with me. All right. Yeah, please.
Garcia, and the office lead. Our focus is essentially partner with sales, finance product teams to scale our systems, drive revenue growth, with a focus on customer experience.
Nice. Love that. Thank you for sharing.
Just put all the words in.
Hey, but now I learn about who you collaborate with, what your mission is. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. One more person want to chime in, share what they came up with?
Hi, I'm Richard. I'm a lead marketing operations manager at Filtering Up. I help manage and optimize our marketing technology and processes by partnering with our marketing stakeholders to identify key priorities and initiatives.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. All right. Oop. All right, now the last part of the career brand section, I want us to be seen, right? I talked about presence before, the twofold definition. So where do people interact with you most on a given day? Just shout it out. There's only Slack, yes. Where else? Zoom. Email.
Google Docs.
Yeah, Google Docs.
Really in person sometimes.
Yeah, in person occasionally, right? Yeah, so only so many places, right? Oh, I want us to talk about, for the sake of this session, the virtual side of things, because so many of us are virtual. So email, big opportunity. We're always communicating, right, through email. This is the typical, right, your name, your title, company, maybe the company website. How might we spruce this up? A lot of things you can do, right? Email signature, my actual signature, a little bit more personal. I have my LinkedIn, I have my website, I have my newsletter, I have my speaker reel. I created this banner to link to my LinkedIn learning courses. Now I'm a solopreneur, so I have a lot of things I want to promote, right? You don't necessarily need to have all of these things, but there are some elements we can take away, like the signature. I definitely want you to have a photo, if you don't already, right, to connect name to face. And then maybe there are some things that Culture Amp has published, like a content report that they want to get out there for some thought leadership. Maybe Culture Amp was in the press, or one of your executives was in the press. That's certainly something you can include. So I just want you to be a little bit more thoughtful about this section, how you can really elevate it and, again, contribute to your presence.
Question.
Yes.
Would you recommend that we should have a different, like, signature piece for our, when we're communicating internally to our team versus when we're communicating with an external customer vendor?
I think it's okay to have it the same. Can you actually separate the signatures like that?
I know what I was thinking about it. Sometimes when we're just interacting with more of our team, we want to be more, like, less formal, so that they feel more comfortable rather than coming up with this big. I don't know.
I think it's okay, because I think your colleagues know that you are probably interacting with external facing people, right? So they're not, and they know you all know each other, right? So I think it's totally fine to keep personally.
The other thing, I know we are not an email heavy culture here, but another thing is, in case you don't know, we do have collateral on Confluence for how to set up email signature.
Great.
So bare minimum, I would set that up and have your LinkedIn, because that's another location where you can be seen. And yeah, I didn't think about adding a picture to my signature, but that's an interesting idea. And like, I just had an idea, maybe once we get our North Star team charter, maybe we have something there, like maybe I'll
like a mission statement.
Missional pillars or something. So that's just another entry point for people to see, oh, this is what Michelle's team does.
Yeah, exactly. Like values, like customer testimonials, like all those things, fair game for sure. All right, you all mentioned chat. I think you said Slack in particular, right? Yeah. A lot of people, I think, neglect their Slack. Let's go over here. They just kind of keep the generic avatar. They have their name, nothing else. Add a photo. Again, we want people to start connecting our name to our photo, especially when we're not in person. And this is the main way that we're talking to one another, right? So name, definitely, and then just a little bit, something about yourself, a little sentence or two. Maybe you put your UPI up there, right? But just something where people can learn about you. Let's say it's a new teammate, a cross-functional stakeholder who's never worked with you before. They can click through and easily learn a little bit more about you. And then it also has another added benefit, right? This is our typical Slack list, many names, many channels. Okay, wow, Lorraine's popping out a lot more, right? Because of the profile picture. So again, the name and the picture recognition. And then similarly for video conferencing platforms, it's okay if you have your video off every now and then, right? I prefer you to have your video on, but if you can't, I'd rather be talking to an image of someone rather than ambiguous avatar or your name or your initials, right? It becomes a lot easier for me to speak to you, and then you have that, again, the photo name association. We really want to take advantage of all these touch points we have virtually, right, in a given day, and make sure that we're showing up and being present and just making ourselves known. And with that, we have covered career brand. So we talked about our current and future perceptions in terms of our brand. We talked about our UPIs, and then we talked about all the virtual touch points where we want to represent ourselves in a given day. Now, last but not least, we're going to talk about credibility here. And credibility is people's belief in you and trust in you that you are going to perform well, be a great coworker. And credibility is made up of two things for the sake of today's session: feedback and follow through. Now, when it comes to feedback, I think people, when you associate it with credibility, they're like, feedback, but if you're credible, people believe in you and trust in you, and they think that you're the expert. But imagine if you worked with someone who was not open to feedback and who just felt like they had the answer all the time and were kind of a know-it-all, right? You're probably not actually going to want to work with that person and feel like they're very credible if they are closed off to outside feedback. So I think feedback is really key to showing that, yes, in fact, you are open and you're open to learning, and that's very important, right? Now, the thing that people get wrong with feedback usually is they're not specific enough with it. So in order for feedback to be helpful, we need to be really specific. Looking at these examples here, this is a question you might ask: what did you think of my presentation? It's an okay question. How might we change that? I've been working on eliminating filler words when I present. Were they a distraction this time around? Right? It's a lot more focus, and you're actually getting the feedback that you want to hear. Now, this example, what constructive feedback do you have for me? What can I do differently when I lead the next meeting? And this is a nice question to look at too, because the word differently is a nice little feedback hack, right? When people get asked about constructive feedback, sometimes their walls go up and they get nervous. They don't want to offend the person. But when you frame it as using the word differently, it's not saying that what you did was wrong or right. It's just, something I might want to experiment with or try differently next time. Now, some other things to think about when we are asking for feedback. Be consistent. When I led my past team, I actually created, monthly feedback meetings. And those were great. It was just an hour on the calendar each month. It was for non-urgent feedback. And it was just a time for us to exchange feedback with one another. It got rid of the maybe stigma or nerves that people have sometimes asking for feedback or giving feedback. And because it was a monthly thing, you just really got used to it and understood, right, that also me as a manager really valued the feedback as well that you were sending my way. You can also reframe how you ask for feedback. So we talked earlier about using the word differently, but also asking for it in terms of advice is really helpful, right? People love giving advice and feeling smart and like they have something to share. So when you ask for advice instead of feedback, that can be another really great way to get some valuable insights. And then give your trusted peers a heads up. So I have this LinkedIn Learning course out now around giving and receiving feedback, and I talk about finding your feedback circle. And these are people you trust who are invested in your learning. And it's really great to go to them ahead of time. Let's say you're about to present, and instead of asking them afterwards, I'm working on my filler words, how were they? You would say, okay, Michelle, I have a presentation in a few days, and I'm working on my filler words. I want to appear more confident by making more eye contact, and I want to make sure that I'm, telling the story very clearly. And that way, bless you, Michelle. And that way, when you go into the presentation, Michelle is actually, okay, Lorraine said she's working on these 3 things. Let me pay extra close attention while she's going through the presentation, and then I can give her the best, most targeted feedback after the session. So finding your feedback circle, your trusted group, is also very helpful. And moving on from feedback, actually one more thing. In your workbook, there's a spot for you to add one question, one specific feedback question that you will ask. So I would love for you all to just think of something that you're working on that you would like feedback on. I will not ask you to share this, but just for yourself, just 1 minute to come up with a question you might ask your manager, coworker, client maybe even.
The worst questions be like, why do you hate me?
Why do you hate me? That's a feedback question? Yeah.
Yeah, this is exactly what that was.
Nice. Nice, like more of like an advice angle. Cool. Nice, I would try to get even more specific with that. If there's like a specific like aspect of that you're trying to work on, yeah. Love that, very specific. Okay. Hi everyone. Hi. Well, that's really specific. Nice. You might also add there, like, oh, this is what I've done so far, and like, yeah. Okay, excuse me, thank you. All right, so those are just for you. I'm not gonna ask you to share them. All right, on to the last part of credibility. In the last part of this session, we're going to talk about the power of follow-through. And follow-through is such an underrated skill. But when you can actually follow through and do what you say when you're going to do it, I feel like that's such a game changer. It really adds to your credibility, and you're going to be someone that people want to continue working with. So let's take a look at this typical chat. Can you get this to me by Wednesday? Sure. Wednesday rolls around. Hi there, what's the status of this? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I got caught up doing other things. Can I send it to you later this week? Seeing some smiles, okay. So, it's fine, sometimes deadlines get missed, right? We can't get it right 100% of the time. However, if this is something that's happening more often than not, it's probably time for a conversation, especially if you're this dark blue person, constantly missing deadlines, right? So how might we improve this? All right, Amy and Michelle, can you get this to me by Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific? Sure. Tuesday rolls around. Here's the first part, confirming I'm on the right track. Let me know. Amy says, good job, on the right track. Friday rolls around. Here's a deliverable. Let me know if you have any questions. So there's a few really great things happening in this interaction here. First thing, Amy is so specific. Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, right? Being nice for Michelle, I just learned that Amy's flying all the way from Australia. So very clear on the expectations. There's no misunderstanding about when this thing is due. Second thing that's working well, this is a new project for Michelle, so maybe she's not entirely sure exactly what Amy's looking for, so she's checking in and just making sure that she's not wasting all her time and trying to complete something 100% when it's not actually the right thing. So this sort of agile way of working is very key, and then also Amy feels reassured, okay, Michelle's working on this, she didn't forget it, right? And then last but not least, Michelle turns in the work early, or on time. Early is great, but on time, and that's really key. And now, looking at this conversation, for sure Amy's going to trust Michelle again, right? Want to give her more important projects and keep collaborating with her. And with that, we've covered credibility. So we talked about Oh, yes, please.
Like my normal MO is it's not just sure, it's more qualification and discovery and negotiation around like, okay, why 5 p.m. Friday? And I'm like 20 other things.
Yeah.
So figuring out like a response and not just, okay, sure, I'm taking this and going to do it is something that we need to develop as I think just a regular RevOps muscle and for analytics too.
Yeah.
Not just like taking orders, right? Thinking critically about why people are asking us to do things and is what they're asking for ultimately the thing that is best for them.
Yeah. Excellent add-on.
I think as a person giving 5 p.m. it's also good to give context why.
Yeah. Sure, yep.
Yeah, I think I normally do that. And I do use PT for that.
I think, just for going sure, if you were worried about the deadline, sharing something more around it is useful.
Yeah.
If you weren't, if it's fine.
Yeah.
Another thing too is don't be a hero. Like if it's taking forever or you're not sure, dial a friend, even if it's not your manager, ask a colleague. But I would hope that you feel safe with your managers to ask these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the worst thing is, sure, they'll be delivered by 5 p.m. Friday, and it's like the last day. Oh, I actually have a gazillion questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doing that discovery early is important.
Yeah, those are great additions. And yeah, going back to the communication section earlier when we saw the minimizing language, I'll try to get this done by Tuesday, right? Yeah, we'll find out what the priorities and all that. Yeah, and I'll get it done by Tuesday or plan to get it done by then. But if anything needs to change or I have additional questions, just giving people as much heads up as you can. You never want to get that message the night before, like, oh, I have so many questions, or I didn't actually think this through, or I didn't actually open this and figure out what I'm supposed to do. So yes, thank you for that. So credibility made up of feedback and follow through. And we did it. We got through the 3 C's: communication, career brand, and credibility. I hope you're all feeling more confident now in your executive presence and brand building skills. I would love for you all to share your feedback with me. Let me know what I did well, what I can improve on in the future. It's going to be helpful for me and also to your senior leadership team to know what you might want to learn about in the future and what you found valuable in this session today. So if you fill this out, there is a little gift for you waiting at the end there. So encourage you all to do that. Oh, no, now everyone's on their phones. Okay. So I'll leave this up for a second for everyone to scan.
There's a little gift.
Gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a gift, actually.
All right, I'll go back to this slide in a second, but I want to ask you all, I'm just going to do a thumbs up gauge of the group. So which C will you tackle first? No one C is better than the other. I'm just going to do a thumbs up here. Who feels like they want to tackle communication first? Okay. Career brand. Nice. Okay. And then credibility. Nice. Okay. Kind of equally distributed across the group. Feel free to add that into your workbook as another point of commitment. And I just want to say thank you so much, everyone. You are such an engaged group. I hope you all connect with me and find me on LinkedIn. I post almost every day similar content to this, so I would love for you to follow me there. And also just send me a message and let me know if you're implementing any of these skills, how it's going. I would love to hear from you. I have a weekly newsletter called Career Bites, bite-sized tips to supercharge your career in 3 minutes or less. So feel free to subscribe there if you're interested. And then I have 14 LinkedIn Learning courses out now. 13 of them are nano courses, so 10 minutes or less on various career leadership and management tips, with a few more coming out this year. So if you want to continue learning from me, that's another wonderful way to do that. And I think now we can enter Q&A. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm trying to think. We have like a little bit of time, so yes, thank you, Lorraine. I don't know if I need to go from here. Let's take a 10-minute break and get back to do our afternoon sessions. And I think our afternoon sessions are led by the directors.
I was gonna say the Q&A.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was like, okay.
Sorry, guys, I'm operating on a little sleep. Go
We
ahead.
definitely need to ask questions.
Yes. Let's utilize this time in this expert here. Please. You're amazing. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, any questions? It's okay. You just learned a lot of things, so you know my introverted self says just take some time to process. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know what's
I've got a fun one to kick us off.
Sure.
I see so many pelotons in the background. In the background.
Okay.
Pelotons in the background.
I mean, I guess they're trying to. I feel like that's like part of their brand, right? They're showing they're in shape,
Right.
they're fit. Yeah. 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 Yeah, you're all seeing interesting trends. You saw everyone having like the virtual background. You're seeing a lot of pelotons. Yeah, just the people you're talking to, I guess. I don't know.
I did have a coworker who do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it better
Yeah.
to have a blurry background or a messy background?
Blurry, I would say. Yeah. But if you can clean up the background and make it less messy, that would be ideal. Yes, please.
Is it okay to have pets walking around in a screen?
For the most part, I mean, you know, depends on context, but I think it's a nice way to show a little bit more of your personality too, as long as it's not too distracting, right?
What are your takes on like having your background be different, like taking calls from different places in your home?
Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine as long as you have a nice setup, right, in each spot. I think it's a great way to, we didn't talk about it today, but I talk about turning off autopilot small talk. And so a lot of the times we get on calls, it's like, how are you? I'm good, how are you? But if you can change something or just give people something to hold on to, like a new background, it can be kind of a conversation starter. So yeah, I'm all for it, as long as you make sure you have the right framing and all of that. Yes?
Well, thank you for these. I'm just curious about you.
Yeah.
How you became an expert in this area.
Sure, yeah. So I spent the first 10 years of my career in tech, leading editorial companies. I was a founding editor at LinkedIn, a founding editor at Prezi, both amazing experiences. While I was at Prezi, I started And this is why I encourage you all to, if you feel comfortable later, maybe ask, what did you say? What are you working towards? And that way, we can all keep in mind, right? Oh, this person wants to improve on this person wants to do this. And then they can actively, just proactively give you feedback if you're open to it, right? Knowing that you want to work on certain skills. Yes, please.
I have a question. That minimizing language, but I think really resonates with a lot of women, a lot of female leaders or females in general. How do you go about like striking a balance between, I guess, like being an empathetic person, but also like demonstrating strong leadership in the way you talk and the way you interact with people?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think very true what you just said. I think it's a balance between someone in my network, they describe charisma as a combination of warmth and competence. So a lot of that minimizing language transformation, that was showing a little bit more competence, right? But there are ways that we can balance that out where we're not just so so strong all the time, where we're like, okay, what are some warm cues that I can incorporate to have more of a balance and not be too much, in one direction? So things like positive language and like the priming examples I gave earlier, like thank you, I appreciate you waiting for me on the call, or smiling is a simple thing, but that helps with the warmth, right? And then I think other things as well, like the body language is also part of it. So it's just all these like little things. So you just have to pick and choose. It's like, okay, I'm being a little bit stronger with my language here. How might I use other cues in terms of body gestures or really more body gestures, facial expressions, things like that. Maybe when it's written, you might use, I don't know, an exclamation point, or again, more positive language like thank you, to kind of balance it out and not be, seen as too much of one thing. Thank you. Yes.
A bit on the same theme.
Yeah.
We use Zoom a lot these days for working from home. It's much easier to be authentic, and I think authentic is one of your highly scored strengths with presence. How do you appear authentic by Zoom?
I think there's a number of ways you can do that. One is with your background. So we talked about that earlier, right? Expressing parts of you. So I always like to say when talking about curating your background is to insert some of your personality. So whether it's artwork or a family photo or, I don't know, wallpaper that you find fun, I feel like that's a nice way to show more of who you are. I think, again, like what I was just talking about here, like things like the body language and smiling and just just showing up like in a positive way. Hopefully that's the vibe that you want to be showing, I think is also really helpful. And I think even the way you speak can be part of that too. So if you're maybe a little bit more casual, like that's okay, like that's authentic to you, right? So all those kind of various factors can be part of that. And I think I would add too is, earlier when I talked about executive presence, I mentioned, previously it was that Eurocentric kind of business suits, power lunches type energy. And being authentic means not trying to fit the mold of that and then kind of trying to stay more true to you.
You said at the beginning, presence is not about being loud on LinkedIn and being present on LinkedIn, but you had it as an additional course in your survey, I think, and so just wanted to get your thoughts on that in terms of building a brand and your presence and using LinkedIn, or even just sharing and doing lesson learns in the workplace is a smaller version of that.
Yeah. Well, I'm such a big proponent of, of posting content, on LinkedIn. Of course, I was an editor there, right? I think LinkedIn is a really important place to be, especially in sales, right? There's this really interesting stat that I always like to share from the RAIN group, if you're familiar, and they said that 82% buyers will look up a seller on LinkedIn before replying to prospecting efforts. So I think it's very key at the very least to have your LinkedIn profile and everything kind of up to snuff. And then the content piece is kind of a nice cherry on top to really show people your insights, your expertise, and show that you are active, right? And it's not just kind of this blank profile, but that you're active and you're out there communicating with others. So I know that posting on LinkedIn, I don't know how comfortable you all feel, or if any of you are doing it right now, can be quite scary. Michelle does a great job of it. So that's actually how we met, through LinkedIn. So you can meet so many cool people through it. So I do encourage you all to try that. If you do not feel comfortable posting, I like to always say commenting is a really nice way to kind of ease into it. You're still driving conversations forward, letting your thought leadership shine, and then being visible in that way.
What's like one last bit of advice that you have for us, I guess, in cultivating executive communication skills in the workplace?
I would say the biggest thing, I mean, you're all doing it right now, is just to be really intentional about it and pay attention to it, right? It's so easy in our day-to-day to be bombarded with Slack messages, and I guess you're not as big on email, but Slack messages, meetings, etc. It's very hard to sometimes remember that I like to say, we are the CEO of our own careers, right? And so if we really want to advance and reach certain goals, we have to be very proactive and thoughtful about the things that we're doing, the presence that we're leaving behind on a day-to-day. And so just to really be intentional about it, and hopefully after the session today, you will keep putting these things into practice, and it does take some practice, but you'll get more comfortable over time.
Great.
Okay, thank you everyone. Okay, amazing. Yeah, I'll stick around for like a few minutes if any of you want to come up or ask questions. But it was really nice meeting all of you, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Maureen. And then let's take like a 5-minute break, and we'll come back and reconvene with our director.
So there's a test call. There's a test call today. I think we'll be recording.
Yes, yeah. You're meant to listen to the recording. Okay, everyone clap once. Clap.